Hey, what's up, guys? David Glenn for theproaudiofiles.com and davidglennrecording.com, home of the free VIP mixed training bundle. If you haven't done so, go check out davidglennrecording.com. Get on the list. You're going to get instant downloads of 2 free sets of multi-tracks. You can mix these, practice your mixing, use them on your resume. You just can't sell them. You've got a couple, not even a couple, a bunch of impulse responses that come with it. Some free video training, tutorial stuff, and then it gets you on the list for a whole slew of free content that will be coming your way. But in today's video, we're going to take a look at kind of an overview of some drum automation that I've done on a track I'm mixing. It's called Won't Stop Believin'. It's from a super talented producer friend of mine, Victor Encarnacion. He's working with a church out of Chicago. I believe it's called Marinatha Church in Chicago. Forgive me if I said that incorrectly, but just want to kind of walk through because, we talk about mixing kick drums, mixing snares, mixing with parallel compression and the drum crush and all this kind of stuff that we've got going on with drum tutorials. I mean, it's endless what you can search for and find. But I haven't seen too many about drum automation, so I figured I'd kick it off, do some drum automation tutorials, and kind of walk you through this. So anyways, first up, I want to take a look at the kick. Now, these drums are program drums. My buddy Vic, he's a big Native Instruments Complete Ultimate user. And so I think he used Modern Drummer in this song. And they sounded okay, but I did make the decision to replace the kick and I replaced the snare with beautiful samples from our friends over at That Sound. You can check out iwantthatsound.com, best drum samples in the business. And we're pulling those in with Trigger. But still, with replacing the drums, I still felt like it needed a little bit more movement. And even if you've got live kick, live snare, and the drummer played, awesome dynamics, he's got the builds going on, it still can help to have some automation, especially once we get in, compressing, and doing our thing. So here is a look. I'm talking a lot. Here's a look at this kick drum without the automation. Let me turn it off. I guess I could play some of the song for you guys. That would be beneficial. Here's a little snippet.
There's a burning in my spirit when I shout your name. There's a fire in my heart that I can't contain. There's a burning in my spirit when I shout your name.
Okay, so we'll look at another section here in a minute, but you can see this kick without the automation. I come over here and turn it off. You'll just see the stale, steady placement of this kick drum. Here it is. Okay, pretty boring, right? So let's throw the automation back in. It's solo. Okay, it's a little crunchy right there, but I like it. Sounds good. It was program drum, so it's really easy to go in. I created a kick snare flam. Let me show you that. And the snare's doing the same thing. Kind of got the build. Now, the snare originally came to me with it in playing that whole section there, but I made a creative decision to not let it build the same with the kick, and I let it come in halfway through. It's kind of a glitch gone good. The trigger didn't catch these snares here because I didn't lift them up, but I actually liked what it did. Let me play that for you. You can hear.
There's a fire in my heart that I can't contain. There's a burning in my spirit when I shout your name.
Cool, and then the kick snare flam stuff at the end there, automated the kick up and the snare, the second hit in this flam up. Okay, so anyways, just showing off kind of the build, get a little crescendo there from the kick and snare. Come out here to the right a little bit more, you can see a similar thing going on. Let me pull them out of solo. Pretty cool, right? And I'm going to show you in a minute where I do some drum bus automation that complements this. But also, if you, in my course, Mixing Drums, you go check out mixingdrums.com. You'll see me do this quite a bit with Trigger, is to go in with clip gain. You can see there I've automated the clip gain so that those snares come into play a little bit more. And you can see as you boost the clip gain, kind of doing a funky curve there, now those snares will be triggered appropriately by Trigger. So moving on out, let's go back to volume automation. Let's click over here. And you can see again, there was some clip gain automation on this snare, and then we've also got the build. So I've gone throughout the song at the different parts where the drums just felt a little stale, and I've added some dynamics to them, especially out here at the end. Check this one out. Pretty sweet, right? Okay, so the kick and snare is self-explanatory. One more thing with the snare. You can see here there's a nice groove going on. Okay, but the drummer does a snare fill, and so out here, you just barely feel that snare come up, just kind of comes up in your face, has a nice vibe to it, pulling it up just a little bit, whatever you're at, minus 1.3, and we pull it up to minus 0.3. So a dB, and it makes that big of a difference. So kick and snare, we'll talk about that a little bit. Let's see, moving on to the toms. This one was pretty exciting. I was talking to my buddy Joey. He's my mastering engineer. I've got more coming from Joey. We're going to do an interview here in the next few weeks talking about some stuff that we've been doing together. But I was talking to him, and he was giving me some pointers. He was listening to my mix, kind of, hey, mastering engineers, hey, at 330, drop it 0.7 dB, and at 140, hey, do this. And he was like, hey, and I really love the toms, but why don't you do some of that Bob Horn, Andrew Sheps drum automation, just kind of push it around and vibe to it. And he was dead on. So what I did, these were programmed toms. Let me show you the before and after of these. Kind of click through and turn off my processing. Here's with no automation and no processing. Solo it for you, my bad. Okay. So not bad, but let's get some stuff going on here. Got to have these big toms, right? So we've got the processing going on. You want to know about that, email me, david@davidglennrecording.com, or actually I walk through that in mixingdrums.com, so check that out. But that still wasn't good enough for me, so I'm going to show you the automation. If you zoom in, I've got this PreSonus fader port. I don't know if you guys can see it from, let's see if it'll pull out, if you guys can, and unplugged, but there you go, PreSonus fader port. And this thing is awesome for pushing things around, adding some movement to the mix. And so you can see here, I've done that manually. You could have drawn this in. You can use your mouse. The PreSonus fader port is a godsend. That thing's amazing. And it's only like, what, $150? I got mine on sale. It was at Sam Ash, like a used thing for like $70. Pretty crazy. So anyways, you can see I've ridden these toms. I got the crazy processing. They changed the sound quite a bit. But then watch the difference between off and on. Here's off. Just one level, right? Okay, now let's put them in. And you see just the movement. And then beyond the movement, I did I was over 150 beats per minute. Did like a quarter note pulse, stumbling. Okay, but more importantly, check this out. So in that vertical movement, I also created a little bit of a dynamic between the sections. So right there, if we average that out, we're about at the, plus 2 dB or something like that. Watch what happens when we transition out of the intro into the verse.
Deeper, I wanna go higher. I wanna feel closer.
So the toms are still there, but we've backed off a little bit and given a little bit more room for that lead vocal. By the way, I have to mention, I was told I can share the song as long as I clarify. This is a scratch vocal. The vocals are being sent to me today. I don't have them. The background's the lead. Everything is scratch. So there, I clarified it. But then listen, just give a little bit of a lift at the end of the first section of the first verse. We go into the B section. Just a little bit, right?
Into your presence,
and then that builds again.
Where you are my refuge, Jesus.
And here we go.
I can't describe.
Get the toms on top. And then big time.
You give me hope. You give me life. Won't stop believing.
Pretty sweet, right? So I've done that throughout the entire song. I've done that vertical movement just to give a little bit of, call it random velocity type vibe, but then also volume up and down throughout the entire track. And then out here, there was one where it was pretty cool. Did a little clip gain automation, but then I've also got the volume cranked because the drummer's just got this, the virtual drummer, it's got this just like tiny click on the toms, but it creates this cool resonance with the processing that I got going on. So I pulled that up like crazy. Feel those crescendos again with the kick and snare. Did the same thing for the toms there. Okay, moving on from the toms, talked about that enough. The next bit of automation I've got going on is from the room stereo. Now, I love doing this. I do this on just about every mix when I have drum rooms. I'm trying to find, hey, what's a sweet level to kind of kick things off, or what's a good level of the chorus, but then let me change that level between sections, and I've done that here. You can go out of the intro. I'm going to solo this drum room. Here's, let me show before and after real quick of the processing. And then with the stuff on. A little darker, a little meatier, a little fatter. There's the my new favorite compressor, the plus 10 dB from David Bendet. This thing's incredible. Smash it, hit it hard. It's got the limiter built in so you can compress and limit. Actually didn't compress here. It's 1-to-1, but I used the limiter, drove that pretty good, and then brought in some of the dry signal. Have VMR. Slate just announced the whole update to VMR. You've got the lift and whatever the EQ was. Some good additions. Some more coming soon. You see I took a little bit of the top out with the SSL, filtered up to about 100. No compression on this, but a little bit of revival. Can't help but using revival on just about anything. And then after that, I filtered out some stuff in there that was getting in the way of the direct mic toms. I felt like that the mud from the, I call it mud, but the stuff in the mid-range there from 3 to 1K even, looks like, just kind of felt that out, brought some down. And then Pi is on there from keeping the drums in phase. But then check this out from section to section. Here's the toms stereo mic coming out of this section into the verse. Okay, it's subtle there, but check this out in the mix. It really makes a difference.
Deeper, I wanna go higher.
Listen now, one more time.
Deeper, I wanna go higher. I wanna.
Pretty cool, right? And so it's subtle, but then out here, we're gonna lift it back up.
I can't describe this joy inside.
And then a crescendo.
You give me hope. You give me life. Won't stop believing.
Pretty sweet, right? So we've got that going on. Next up, I want to take a look at, well, I guess I can show you. I blended some samples from that sound for the cymbals. What's a good section to show that off? Probably right here. Not really automation as much as putting some samples in, but let's check out before and after. Here's with no crash samples. Okay, and so the original overhead crashes, from the programmed drums, I thought they sounded good, but I wanted to have a little bit more sustain and a little bit more action on the left and the right. So I threw in a left and a right crash, and then I sent it to a sunset chamber. And then I also sent it to a delay that I've got that's more like a crazy reverb type thing going on. So check this out right here. Pretty sweet, right? Cool. And there's some other automation for some of the sections where I turn the actually turn the big delay on and off. But moving on from there, we've got down here, I send the shells of the kit, the kick snare toms, I send those to a bus called All Drums. And then I treat those with a little bit of compression, got the VMR on there, clariphonic, just doing some basic processing here. And then I have the drum crush kind of, man, years ago, I think it was a Kenny Joya tutorial or something I saw where he had a parallel 1176. I think it was even the Bomb Factory stock Pro Tools 1176. And he would send the drums to both a drum bus and a parallel drum compression bus, and he would smash it, blend it into taste, or the other way around. I can't remember how he used to do it. But for the longest time, I ran with that. And then I saw Dave Pensado, and he used a more, at least in the tutorial I saw, he used parallel compression on the kick, and then he used it on the snare, independent of just sending everything. I've kind of taken that in my mix template. I have the option to do it for just the kick and just the snare or toms or whatever. But then I've also got it set up with the drum crush. I watched the Bob Horn tutorial over at Pro Studio Live. It was a good time, some good stuff, and he used the drum crush. And saw some cool stuff from him. And then also Andrew Sheps had a tutorial with Pure Mix. Hey man, I'm teaching, doing my thing, but I'm a student first. I'm always watching these guys and what they're doing. But he had it set up with a DBX 160. I went a little further and threw the UAD Culture Vulture on there. Pretty sweet preset. I can't remember what it was, but I dialed back the mix percentage. I think it was like Crunchy Drums or something like that. Fat Filter Saturn would be great here. All kinds of things you could throw on to add a little bit of crunch to the drums, but that's blended in with the original signal. And I'm automating these as well. So let's take a look at that. Here's the first one where we've got some stuff going on. Check this out.
Shout your name. There's a fire in my heart that I can't contain. There's a burning in my spirit when I shout your name.
Pretty sweet, right? So we got that first hit that kind of just smashes the drums and the cymbals to start the breakdown, and then they build. And I'm actually even hearing that kick snare combo out here could be a little bit more. You know what it is? That kick right there is kind of an underlying. Okay, and let's go kick there, up, paste. And then I'm going to take this one out. Don't need that. Kind of back it up to there. There's a gate on it, so that I'm not worried about that little thing there. And then let me see what that sounds like. Still felt like I need a little bit more from that kick. So I'm going to put a marker there. Just kind of trial and error to get this kick to come forward a little bit more. See what we can make happen here. A little bit better. Still could probably use something maybe at the bus. So let's come back down, take a look. Pro Tools errors while I'm doing these videos. And let's put that on the grid, maybe bump it up a little bit more. Yeah. Much chunkier. So anyways, writing automation to the all drums, and that's throughout the song in a couple spots. Let's take one more look at this one. Cool, so just helping out that build a little bit more. There was a section where I automated the drum crush a little bit. Let's check that out. Nice, man. Just little subtle changes to help the mix not just sit still. We also had this. The high end is where the metal of the kit goes, overheads, crashes, that kind of stuff. Sometimes room mics, because I don't necessarily want the room mics to be compressed with the drum bus parallel compression. I like to crush those independently, individually, and then know what I'm getting from them. So then I'll send those to high end as well sometimes. But I got a little lift here at the cymbals. Just little bits of automation to help the song kind of stand out. And then a lot of times on the 2-bus, I'll automate everything down a dB, and then at the pre-chorus come up half a dB, and then at the chorus go up back to 0, another half dB, to create some impact there. But I felt like the arrangement was so good on this one that it probably doesn't need that, but who knows? I'm still mixing it, so we'll see. But anyways, I blabbed a couple rabbit trails in there, but I hope you dig it. Go check out mixingdrums.com if you want to learn more on how I'm mixing drums. This is a fun song. This is going to be part of a mix contest coming up, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled, join the list. You'll get updates. DavidGlynnRecording.com, theproaudiofiles.com. I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.